What's up, everybody? It's the Rev here. Welcome back to my kitchen for another episode of Rev Cooks. Listen, if you're new around here, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. That way, every time we go live here on the Rev Online, you're getting the content. Listen, guys, you know, it's that time of year where we're really thinking comfort food. And you know, I've kind of been on this journey of discovering some authentic Italian foods. You know, I did a carbonara video for you guys. I've recently perfected my bolognese, so maybe I'll do a video on that in the future so you know how to make a real authentic Italian meat sauce. But today I'm going to make an Italian-American tradition because this is not like an authentic Italian recipe, but if you live in America, you know about this one. I am going to make for you my version of rigatoni and homemade meatballs. I hope you're ready because this one is going to be worth it. Let's check out the ingredients. Oh, and by the way, sorry guys, but I'm trying to shoot this one without my lovely assistant. So you got to bear with the Rev's homemade, just me camera skills. So let me show you what we're working with. For our ingredients, we're going to need a few things. What I have here is some heavy whipping cream. I have some seasoning here. What you're going to need for this is a tablespoon of fresh basil, a tablespoon of oregano, and a tablespoon of Italian seasoning, your favorite kind. We have some tomato paste. We have 2 pounds of ground beef. I have 2 cans of San Marzano whole tomatoes. You know how we do. We also have 6 big cloves of garlic, a bunch of Italian parsley, a whole half of a white onion. We have 1 pound of rigatoni. And also, one of the stars, we're going to use what's called pecorino romano cheese. You'll see this in a lot of classic Italian dishes. Pecorino romano is a saltier cheese. It's actually made from sheep's milk, not from cow. But over here, you see the cow version. We got you. I'm sorry, I've got books here in the way. I should have moved those. Let me move those. Those are actually my homemade Rev tripod for just a few moments from now. But here we go. That right there is some good old American Parmesan. You guys know you like that. That comes from the cow. And we have 1 cup of breadcrumbs. We're also going to need, if you're using 2 pounds of beef, which I am for this recipe, you want to use 2 eggs per pound, so I'm going to go with 4 eggs, and I don't even have those out here yet. So let me get those and let me show you what we're about to do. All right guys, to do this correctly, we want to start with an amazing sauce. So let's go ahead and get some olive oil, enough to coat the bottom of your pan, or as I'm using here, a Dutch oven. Let's get that on low setting. Make sure I got that. What I want to do is, I want to chop up some onions and some garlic. You can make it as fine as you want. What I like to do is, I'm going to show you my trick. I emulsify this so that all the flavors are there, but my kids don't see it. And I think I've shown you guys this process. If you've watched our pizza video, you've seen this already. We want to go ahead and get our onions chopped up. Then we'll chop our garlic. We'll add our onions first, and then we'll add the garlic. And let me show you how we put this sauce together. Now that we've been cooking our onions for just a couple minutes till they're fragrant, we're sweating them down. Now we're going to add our garlic. Remember, we don't want this on high because we do not want our garlic to burn. Give it a stir. What's happening is this onion and this garlic is now infusing that oil with flavor. To this now we want to add our San Marzano whole tomatoes, product of Italy. And we're going to add them, and if you've seen me do this before, you know we're just going to use our hands. Now that our sauce has begun, let's give it a nice stir. Now to this mix, well, I didn't bust my tomatoes up as much as I need to. That's all right, because I'm going to emulsify it as I told you earlier. So to this mix, we want to add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. I like to add, for this much, we're going to also do we also want to do 2 tablespoons, hopefully you can see that, of balsamic vinegar. I like the bite the balsamic vinegar gives to your sauce. This is completely optional, by the way. It's just how I like to make it. We also want to add, like I said, I have a tablespoon of basil, tablespoon of oregano, and a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. And let's just stir that right together. We're going to bring this up to a little simmer. We're going to let this simmer along, and while we're allowing this to simmer, let me show you how we're going to make our meatballs. And before you make your meatballs, what you want to do, I'm going to do it in just a second, take out about 3 tablespoons of this and reserve it, and I'll show you what to do with that in just a moment. All right, guys, we want to emulsify this. Again, you don't have to. This is totally optional. Like I said, I do it because it does give a different consistency, but it also breaks up all the heavy and big pieces. So if you got kiddos, they don't even notice. You guys have seen this before, as I've done this with our pizza sauce, and this is kind of a similar sauce. So what we want to do is, after I break this down, I'm going to take out 3 tablespoons for our meatball mixture, and then I'm going to transfer this back on a simmer, and I'm going to show you how to make the meatballs. Actually, I added 4. Be all right. Transfer this over somewhere. We can just put it on simmer. Let me show you how we're going to make these meatballs. As you see here, we have 2 pounds of ground beef. Again, you can use a pound of ground beef and a pound of pork. Totally up to you. I'm going to take, and I'm going to, you know what, I don't need to skin those. We want to take our 4 tablespoons or 3 tablespoons, whatever you decide, of sauce. Let's take 3 tablespoons-ish. This is 2. Well, let's keep it even, about 4 tablespoons of heavy cream. To this, we can add our eggs. Like I said, 2 pounds. 2 pounds requires about 4 eggs, or 2 eggs per pound. To our mix, I'm also, let me go ahead and start to stir this up just a little bit. Just break it up a little bit. I'm going to add, again, 1 cup of pecorino cheese. Again, this is pretty salty. I'm going to add 1 cup of Italian breadcrumbs. I'm also going to chop up some parsley. I have Italian parsley here, of course. I want to chop this real fine. Add that in. Then 3 whole cloves of garlic. I'm going to use my garlic press. These are massive cloves. If you don't have one of these garlic presses, I don't know what to tell you. We want to well combine all this till it's basically kind of a cheese, breadcrumb, garlicky, eggy slurry. Now you can use as much or as little of this as you like. I found with 2 pounds, I'm going to use it all. What I'll do, we're going to take our ground beef, salt it, some freshly ground black pepper, because you always have to have that. Then, it's the messy part. We want to combine this. Combine this mixture well. And after we get this together, make sure it's well combined, well incorporated. I'm going to show you how we put our meatballs together in just a moment. All right guys, we have our meatball mixture ready to go. We want to go ahead and start to roll these out. What I like to do is I don't like my meatballs too big. About that size for me. It's up to you. Whatever you like. You can make them as big or as little as you like. I like to take it, if you wet your hands a little bit, that'll help you in forming your meatballs where they don't stick. Now, there's multiple ways you can make your meatballs once you have them rolled out. Now, if you don't plan on using them all, you can actually freeze them. You can freeze them as soon as you roll them out and cook them later, or you can freeze them after you cook them, depending on how you do it. They freeze really well, as some of you guys know, because you buy all your meatballs from the store frozen. I know who you are. I know what you're up to. There's nothing better than making it yourself. What we're going to do, you have multiple options. I'm going to roll all these out in just a second. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. We're going to get some oil in our pan. Again, we're going to cover this all the way up. Just enough to coat the bottom really good. Get this oil moving. We're going to brown ours on each side. Then we're going to transfer them to the sauce and let them cook for 1 hour. You don't have to do that. You can take them right here, put them right in your sauce, and rock and roll. Or, I've also done them this way. You can take them, throw them, and it's like a 400, 450 degree oven. Usually takes, I believe, about 20 to 30 minutes to really get them brown. Turn them halfway, that way they're brown each side. Then put them in your sauce. Totally up to you. I just feel like when we cook them first and brown each side, it gives them that extra little something, just like we did with Rev's roast, that extra dimension of flavor. So let me get these rolled out and I'll show you how we do it. We are finished rolling out our meatballs. Tell me how great those look. Oh yes, they're ready to go in. I'm gonna brown them on each side. After I brown them on each side, I'm going to transfer them to our sauce where they'll finish cooking for exactly 1 hour. With about 10 minutes to go, well, about 15 minutes to go, make sure that you heat up some water, get it rolling, boiling, put some salt in that water. You know how to make pasta. Rigatoni, most of the time, that's what I'm using, a rigatoni. Rigatoni usually takes about 12 minutes. We're gonna cook ours for about 9 to 10 minutes, and I'm gonna show you how we finish this in just a moment. Now that these are browning on all sides, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna transfer them to my sauce. Get them back on the simmer and let them simmer in the sauce, like I said, for 1 hour. Browning these just adds that extra depth of flavor to your meatballs. With 2 pounds also, the size that I rolled them out, I want to let you guys know, I got exactly 30 meatballs out of that. I've got a little over half of those that I'm adding to our sauce. And the rest, I'm going to cook up and I'm going to freeze them for later use. All right, it's getting close to our hour. So what I'm gonna do, you can see I got the roll and boil on here. You see that? Oh yeah, got the roll and boil. I've salted that water a little bit. I'm using rigatoni, about 1 pound. Now typically if you're making a rigatoni, it's about 12 minutes. We're gonna do this for about 9. Once you put it in, make sure you give it a little stir. I'm going to cover that to really get it rolling in a boil. 9 minutes and we're almost done. I'm going to show you how to finish this in just a moment. All right guys, this has been going, sorry, about 10 minutes. Obviously we're going to drain it. After we drain it, get all that water out. We're going to move it back to our pot. And we're actually going to finish this in our sauce. So we want to take about, I don't know, good 2 or 3 scoops. Let's do 3. 3 nice scoops there. Give it a nice stir. Oh yeah, you see it? You know what? I think I need a little bit more liquid on that. You gotta eyeball it. Well, we don't want a meatball. Let's add another scoop. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Here's what I like to do so it melts in a little bit. A little sprinkling of some parmesan. Now you can, if I'm making it just for me and the wife, I would stick with pecorino. The pecorino is real salty. It is a different flavor. The kids sometimes don't know what they think about it. So that's why I go with a little milder parmesan here to finish this off. Now I'm going to do a cheat, just because I like to see if the noodles are where I want them. I messed up my plating. It's late in the evening and the Rev is hungry. Finish this off with a little more cheese. A little more chopped parsley. And there you have it. Now, for the taste test, let's see how these nice and moist. You know, adding that sauce to your meatballs before you cook them really gives it that little extra special something. Hot, simple, delicious. I don't know what else to tell you. American, Italian inspired comfort food. This does it for me. Listen guys, you know what the deal is. If you're new, make sure you like, subscribe, share. You can cook this too. It's easy, just follow along. I promise you'll enjoy it. Until next time, it's the Rev.